The state of human rights amid a pandemic. The threat posed by the novel coronavirus is overshadowing the threat against human rights amid a pandemic. In April, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet even had to warn governments to refrain from using emergency powers as a weapon to quash dissent, control the population, and even perpetuate their time in power. That same month, Human Rights Watch released a human rights checklist composed of 40 questions to help guide a rights-respecting response to the coronavirus crisis that would consider groups that are most at risk. This includes the elderly, LGBT, migrants, refugees, children, women, people with disabilities, ethnic and religious minorities, and people living in poverty. International organizations felt the need to advise governments to continue to respect human rights precisely because of the occurrence of human rights abuses throughout the pandemic. In their checklist, the Human Rights Watch cited the denialism about the coronavirus occurring in Mexico, China, Burundi, Brazil, Belarus, Zimbabwe, Turkmenistan, Myanmar, and the US. Journalists in Bangladesh, Egypt, Ethiopia, Turkey, China, Venezuela, and Cambodia had been arrested for reporting on COVID-19. Inadequate isolation facilities in China, Nigeria, and Burundi have either been criticized for unsanitary conditions or led to the deaths of patients. Police abuse of citizens violating lockdown rules in France, Kenya, South Africa, Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Philippines also did not go unnoticed. The list goes on but has yet to end. Even in countries where human rights abuses amid the pandemic are not commonly reported, many have urged governments to do more. Alex Neve and Isabel Long-Law of Amnesty International Canada lamented in the Globe and Mail that this pandemic is all about human rights, but we're not hearing much about human rights. They called for human rights commissioners to be included in government briefings and human rights statistics to be shared by governments worldwide. Sweden, for instance, took part in a digital meeting with intergovernmental organizations in April to evaluate the region's response to the crisis without undermining Europe's founding values of democracy, human rights, and rule of law. Olivia Enos of Forbes magazine, on the other hand, called attention to the human rights abuses in Southeast Asia in particular, where she says governments have been playing Russian roulette with their citizens' lives during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, instead of asking the governments themselves to respect human rights, Enos asked that the US government step in. According to her, the US should condemn countries that act against human rights and provide aid to the Southeast Asian countries in an effort to prioritize their well-being. However governments choose to address human rights, it is important that the health crisis the world is facing does not turn into a worldwide human rights crisis. How do you think human rights should be preserved in your country? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below.